Good afternoon, everybody, or good day, wherever you're from. My name is Pranati, and I'm here with my colleague Shashwat, and both of us are part of the introduction program crew this year. Shashwat, why don't you introduce yourself to the audience?
Okay, hey guys, I'm Shashwat. I'm a second year master student at Aerospace Engineering. I do the control and simulation track. This is my third IP as a crew member, and yeah, I'm looking forward to explaining to you guys more about Brightspace and what we have in store for you this IP.
Thank you for that. My name is Pranati. I recently graduated from TPM with a master's degree in management of technology. And this is also my third IP, and I'm looking really forward to it because this is also going to be my last IP as a crew member. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about different elements that can help you with your study here at TU Delft, such as Brightspace, your timetable, MyTUDelft, and a few more additional information about what you can use here as a student. To begin with, we're gonna have to show you how to log into Brightspace and everything. And Shashwat. We're gonna do this Q&A a little different from what we did last time. So we're gonna show you what Brightspace is all about and how you can use it. And at different points of the time, I'm gonna pause for questions to see what questions you guys have, and we're gonna answer that. But if you have a few generic questions, there are a few of my colleagues in the chat who can help you out with the answers as well. So feel free to ask your questions in the chat, but if you have something related to what we're saying or what we're showing you on the screen, I would say wait until we give you the opportunity for questions. So the agenda for today is that we're going to learn about Brightspace and how you can use Brightspace in many ways that can help you with your study. You can learn how to navigate and move around with different elements within Brightspace itself and get familiar with the platform and the additional resources that are linked with the platform. And you can learn about the study culture here at TU Delft using the course that we've developed for you, which some of you might have already been going through, and also where to find all the information that you need for your academic career here at TU Delft. I'm going to begin with sharing my screen to show how Brightspace works, and you can see how you can log into Brightspace if you already haven't logged into Brightspace yet. Just give me a couple of minutes. I have a question already from MD here who says, to register for courses, exams, do I have to register via Brightspace or do I have to register via MyTUDelft? MD, I would say please wait for a while until we finish covering all the modules so that you understand how this platform works. We will get to your answers shortly through this Q&A itself. So you will be logging into Brightspace using the link that you see, that is login.tudelft.nl for Brightspace. And you will enter your net ID, which you would have received already with your TU Delft email account as it is. And the password that you use would be the same password that you're using for your TU Delft webmail. Once you log in, you should see a screen similar to that you see right now, where you have different sections that says My Home, My Timetable, MyTUDelft, Catalog, Resources, and Help. You will see your student profile on the right-hand side corner, and you will see the courses that you've registered for in this section that you see. That's my pinned courses and my courses. Since I'm almost done with it, you can see most of them are not there in my pinned courses yet, but you can see all the courses that I took over the past 2 years under my courses itself. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, you can see some student news, and it's always nice to see what the university is up to and what you should be knowing. And you can also have some important links in this corner over here. To enroll into a course, you go to course catalog and you search for a course. Let's say we have our introduction program course itself, and we're going to go ahead and look at that. We have introduction program fall 2022-2023, and that's the course that we've designed for you. Shashwat and a few of my colleagues, including myself, have worked really hard on this course. to help you be familiar with Brightspace as a platform, as well as all the other resources that you would need during your 2 years here at Delft.
Just also make sure you actually register using the right date, because a rookie move, even I sometimes make the mistake, is if you sign up to the previous year's course, you might be surprised as to why there's no announcement or why the content is not updated.
Yeah.
And you don't want to miss out on anything. So always make sure you sign up for the right year.
Yeah.
And don't be surprised if your course is not available on Brightspace, a week before your academic year begins. So some professors and lecturers make sure that it's available before, like a week before the course begins. But some lecturers also activate the Brightspace course just during the first week.
Yeah.
So if it's not available on the course catalog, just wait and then go to the first lecture, and then you can usually ask the professor. He will announce it, or he or she will announce it as well as going to be made live. So don't sign up into the wrong ones.
Yeah. As you can see, by wrong ones, what he means is that we have a 2021 and 2022 course and a 2022 and a 2023 course. The content might not be different for most courses, but the way that the professor updates and provides assignments could change. So it's always best to have yourself enrolled to the latest course, especially for group enrollments and for announcements like Shashwat mentioned. You have to again click on login to enroll, and once you've enrolled yourself, you can launch the course. And you can see the course homepage where you can see different announcements. We already have a welcome announcement for you, but when you sign up for your course, they might have a different announcement that your professor would have. Maybe it could be prerequisites for the study, or maybe it could just be about different resources that he wants you to go through before the course starts. On the content section, you can access what the course has and what course information the professors uploaded. Most of the times, in most of the courses, professors upload contents on a week-by-week basis, or a subject or a thematic basis. Here we've uploaded it based on themes, and that's Welcome to TU Delft, TU Delft Study Skills, and TU Delft Study Culture. But you'll also have a few professors who also have it by weeks, say week 1, week 2, week 3, and usually they also have sometimes recorded materials or study materials that they have that you wouldn't find in your textbooks or things like that. Do you have anything to add, Shashwat?
No. So I agree with what you said. It's mostly on Brightspace, and they either put all of it at once or they keep adding it.
Yeah.
For example, the usual thing that I've seen with courses is the past papers. So some professors usually put them at the beginning, but most of them usually just a couple of weeks before the exams.
Yeah.
They update the module.
Yeah.
And usually they give an announcement as well. So like the most important part, like the most important page, like the element of Brightspace, in my opinion, is the announcements part, which you see on the course home. Because everything is announced. So regarding exam registration, if there's any last minute changes regarding the lecture, or if you need to sign up for an assignment, submit an assignment, or if you have any questions. So regularly check your announcements. And you also usually see them on the bell on top. So all the announcements from the different courses that you signed up for actually show up there. So just make sure you regularly go over them.
And it's not just your courses announcements, but also if your faculty or if your specialization has certain announcements that they want you to know about, you will find them here in the announcements section. And for example, if you're in a course and it's towards your exam and you're trying to search for a particular topic, you can always use the search index to help you find this particular topic rather than navigating to 100 different items every time you want to find something. If we go back to course homes, sometimes professors provide updates and discussions on the right-hand side as well, where you can discuss various doubts that you have with the professor or the TA, whoever is handling the subject as well. You also have a section known as collaboration, where sometimes if a professor cannot make it to a class in person due to various reasons, he might have a virtual classroom session organized for you, or he might do it on Teams. But it's always good to know that there's something called virtual classrooms that's accessible through Brightspace, where your professors can conduct lectures on. You also enroll for course groups through the collaboration section, where you can enroll for groups through using groups, or if the professors activated group self-enrollment, then you have to go through the group self-enrollment section.
And I will, like, later on when I discuss about the project work element of the introduction program that you guys will be going through, you guys will have to use both the groups and the group self-enrollment option. So I'll go over how it works and why you would use it.
All right. And on the top right, you will see something called select a course, and this will help you toggle between different courses that you have. As you can see, I have a bunch of different courses that I was enrolled to, and I can always navigate between these different courses from one course to another. I don't always have to go back to my homepage. And with this, I would like to ask if anyone has any questions related to whatever we've done so far. If so, we can answer it before we move on to the next part of the Brightspace course element itself. How do we know the time and venue of the lectures before registration? We're going to get to that real soon. We're going to talk about MyTUDelft and MyTimeTable, where you can see where the lecture will be held, and if there are any changes, then your lecturer usually will post an announcement in the Brightspace course itself to let you know that there have been changes to the venue or the time of the lecture. If you haven't already received your net ID and password, please email contact center or the ICT services regarding it. They will probably help you with that because by now you usually should have received your net ID unless there was some issues with it.
But just make sure you do get your net ID, and you get to know what your password is before you show up on campus, because everything pretty much on campus runs on both your net ID and password.
Yep.
So both, like, all the way from the internet facilities or the Wi-Fi to the printing. So if you don't have them, you will face a few difficulties during the introduction program.
All right. Andreas has a question that says, should we stress about enrolling in courses /minors fast in terms of getting a seat? Usually mandatory courses already have the limit of number of students that are already enrolled in that program for that year. But if it's an elective and if there are deadlines, then you will have to sign up fast because they have certain deadlines.
Yeah.
But again, it's based on the professor. So it's best first to email the professor if the course is not open yet.
No, also for ethics. So ethics, for those of you, it's a mandatory course for at least for most of the engineering faculties that I know as a master's student. And you have two options. I think one is in second quarter and one is in third quarter, and they're really, like, they're limited spots because there are only so many teachers that they have. So like, I missed the second quarter when, like, last year when I was doing it, I missed the second quarter that, like, it was filled by the time I actually got to it. So I'd recommend you regularly check the course enrollment, or you just directly contact the professor in charge.
Yep.
But ethics is the only course that I can think of that everybody has to do, which is super competitive in getting a spot.
It also depends from faculty to faculty because at TPM we have certain electives that the professor itself caps a limit on, and it depends. So it really depends on your faculty. So keep checking the course that you're really interested in. If the course is not open yet, maybe email the professor to see if there's going to be a deadline for registering for the course, or if there's going to be a cap, so that you're on top of things.
Another, like, if you want to find out more about courses, you can also go to My Study Guide. It's a website, like a TU Delft website, which basically has an overview of all the courses, the prerequisites and what they're about mentioned. So yeah.
Will we be enrolled to the first quarter courses automatically? It depends again on the faculty you're in. Some faculties do it automatically for you and some don't. So I would suggest please check with your faculty if they're going to do that for you for the first quarter. Are there credits for the IP course? No, there are no credits for the IP course, but it's a nice to know course that you can use actually for your TU Delft academic career. I would say it was really helpful for me, especially transitioning from a system where we had everything in person to actually using something that actually has everything online that I know before I attend my classes.
And it's also good to meet your fellow students and fellow classmates beforehand. So you at least have, a social group before you actually begin your academic life here.
Can we start registering for courses already, or will we be informed by our professors on the first day of the class? If your courses are open, I would suggest go ahead and start enrolling for it. But then again, just check with your faculty before you do so.
Yeah, so you guys also will have a faculty introduction program the week after the IP, and usually that time they will inform you which courses are open and when to register. Like, personally, I don't see the point in registering right now, because most likely the professors themselves haven't made the pages live. So yeah, I would recommend asking at your faculty introduction, or at the latest just check a week before the classes actually begin whether the courses are available on Brightspace, in the course catalog. And if they're not, don't worry. Just as long as you sign up for the courses, like make them available on your timetable, you can just attend the first lecture and then later sign up on Brightspace.
Cheyenne has a question. Do we have access to past courses, for example, past exams? Some of the professors actually leave the courses open, but most of them already close the courses, so you don't really see them on Brightspace. But most of the times before your exams, professors do post material that can help you prepare for the exam itself, whether it's past question papers or sample question papers with answers. So there's always that, and there are always resources online that always post question papers from the previous years that you can use. You will find that again with your faculty peers as well.
Some departments and different faculties also have their own online repositories of past papers and assignments. So that's another thing I'd recommend you inquire during your faculty introduction.
Robin has a question. When does course enrollment start? For example, I can't see any open 2022-2023 courses for the AI track. That might be because your faculty still hasn't posted them live on Brightspace yet. And like Shashwat said, you shouldn't be worrying about it, because sometimes professors launch the course just before the course is about to start, or during the first day or the first week of the course. So that shouldn't be a problem if you don't see it as of now yet. Wait until your faculty introductions. Wait until you see if your peers have already signed up for it or not, to see if it's an issue with you or if it's generally not available for anyone. And then go ahead and see if you can enroll yourself for the course. We have when can we use the email address of TUD? You should be able to see it right now, because it's active as of now for most students. You should have received an email in your registered email account about your TU Delft net ID and password, and the password should be changed if I'm not wrong. I see that's the questions that we have so far. So let's move on to the next part of it, which is MyTUDelft and MyTimeTable. I'm going to share my screen again and we can continue. All right, so we go back to our homepage here, and we will continue with the resources that we have. We're going to talk about MyTUDelft as of now, which is where you see a lot of things such as your grades, your exam enrollments, and announcements from your courses when you enroll for an exam.
And your calendar is also visible here. So you can access it through Brightspace, or you can directly go to mytudelft.nl.
Yeah. And as I said, you will see messages from your courses if you get a new result, if the professors declare any exams, or your exam ticket confirmations itself that you can access over here. You can again access your student news here in this section. And there's a navigation toggle system here where you can see MyTimeTable, Brightspace, if there are any updates, Subdesk, your student portal, and all e-services, your printing portal. So you can access a lot of things through MyTUDelft itself. And this is the homepage that we're logged into. And then if you go to calendar, you can see your events, but sometimes this doesn't work, so it's always better to see MyTimeTable instead.
That's the thing. Your courses won't automatically show up on MyTUDelft. So this is also an app that you have on your phone. So you first have to sign up for the course, or at least select the courses that you want to view on MyTimeTable, which will show you in a bit. And once you select those courses on MyTimeTable, they will show up on MyTUDelft app.
Yep. And then you have your grades. We're not going to see my grades, but that's the section that you see your grades at. You can also check your study progress. And this is where you see where you've completed all your courses and how many EC you get for them. My master thesis project, I just completed it yesterday, so it's yet to be reflecting on my MyTUDelft, but this is where you see your study progress in general. And like I said, messages about new results, or if you've enrolled for an exam, all of that will also be appearing over here. And we already saw news, and this is the section where you can enroll for a test. You don't enroll for courses on MyTUDelft, even though it says so. but here's where you'll be enrolling yourself for exams. So you go to test, you search for your subject, and then you click on it to enroll for an exam. I am not going to enroll for an exam right now, but once you click on yes and you confirm your enrollment, you will receive an email in your TU Delft mail account, as well as in your messages that says exam ticket, confirmation, registration, exam, research methods, or whatever subject that you've signed up for. So this is where you enroll for tests. Please keep in mind that every faculty has its own rules and regulations for enrollment of exams. For example, I'm from TPM and they suggest that you have to enroll for an exam at least 6 days before the exam date. But for different faculties, the rules are different. So make sure that you know what your faculty says about registering for exams.
And you might not always get a notification saying that the exam registration is open, but just keep in mind, like at least a month before the actual exam is, you'll see the exam date on your calendar on MyTimeTable as well. So just make sure like a month before the exam date that you just check if it's available on MyTUDelft app to register. And if you do not register, based on some, it's on a case-to-case basis. Some of the exams they let you in if they have spots, but you get a half an hour time penalty. And for example, if some of the computerized exam, if there are no spots available and you didn't register, then you will have to do the reset.
Yep. You can also access different details on My Details at the MyTUDelft section, such as your student card, your contact details, your enrollment and declaration of enrollment can also be found here. I don't know if incoming students already have it, but usually once your academic
No, you do. I
year
think
starts,
you have a proof of enrollment.
proof of enrollment is where you can find it.
So you need it for everything from registering with the government to the bank account to get a student discount. If you want to use Spotify and get a student discount, you still have to proof of enrollment.
Yeah, you need a proof.
So this is where you find your proof of enrollment.
Yep. So this is about MyTUDelft. Does anyone have any doubts about enrolling for exams?
We also have a presentation on our Brightspace course, the Introduction Program Brightspace course, which has a detailed overview of how to a detailed overview of all the features of each of these applications that we're showing to you right now. So even if you don't remember the things we're telling you right now, you can always, I'd recommend going to that part of the Brightspace course and downloading the presentation, at least for the first month that you use these facilities. So you don't miss out on anything.
All right. I see Palash's question. We have to register for exams. Are exams part of the course itself? It's a requirement for you to complete the course with an exam, but you have to register for the exam. And certain courses do not have exams. They could just be project works or assignments that you need to deliver. So you don't need to register for an exam in such courses. But if a course has an exam where you have to go to an exam hall or attend an online exam, you need to register for that because it's your student ID that's being registered for the examination itself.
And also, just to be clear, I don't know if this applies to masters, but during my bachelor's, there were some courses where you didn't have to sign up on MyTUDelft for the exam, but the professor will make it very clear, the introduction lecture, the very first lecture of the course that you attend, he or she will make it very clear whether you have to register or not and approximately when the exam is going to be to begin with.
Mia has a question. Do we have to enroll both via Brightspace and MyTUDelft?
Yes.
You enroll for your courses on Brightspace
and then exams
on MyTUDelft. You don't enroll for your subjects on MyTUDelft. You only enroll for your exams on MyTUDelft.
Yes, so some people might be more inclined to just do a course, just follow a course to learn something and might not feel like doing the exam later on. So don't sign up for the exam if you're not intending on sitting the exam during that examination session.
Yes, and MD also had the same question, and MD, yes, that is correct. You only enroll for exams on MyTUDelft and for your courses on Brightspace. But if your professor specifies that there's a test on Brightspace, only then you enroll for that test on Brightspace. But this happens only once a while, not all the time. So just make sure that you have read all the announcements and requirements for your course.
And if you usually have questions regarding the examination, or the lecturer usually makes it very clear whom to contact. So it might be directly like him or her or the teaching assistant. So all these questions it's case by case specific, and I'd recommend asking the lecturer in charge of the course that you're taking.
All right. Then we will go to how to set up your timetable. I am going to share my screen again. All right. So if you go to Brightspace and click on My Timetable, this is the screen that you usually will see, and it will ask you to log in again. So go ahead and log into the timetable itself, and then you add a timetable by selecting the year, and you go ahead, add timetable. Just a second. This is the location. That's not what I want. I want it by courses. Actually, let me do it. Go ahead, because
Yeah.
I'm going to stop sharing.
Okay, so I'm just going to show you what my timetable looks like. So you log in again. And yeah, so you go to add timetable, and now we have the preliminary schedule for 2022-2023. So you have two options. I personally recommend going by the course option, so you know which, like if you go through my study guide, like the study guide that TU Delft provides, like the website, you can see which courses you have to take when. And if you're planning on doing the regular program, you can just go to program of study and then select, your faculty, and then you can select which track you're doing. But my recommendation would be to go to the individual courses. So you go to course. Here you can type your course number. So I'm just going to type one from my master's. Yeah. So in this case, like this is one of the first quarter courses that I have. You can select it and then add it to the timetable. But the thing is, I've already added it to mine. So that way you can add all your courses per quarter. Just make sure it's the right year, because the previous year one won't show up. So in August, you don't have any lectures or anything, so you don't see it. But if you go to yeah. So the academic year begins on the 5th of September, the first day, and you can already see. So for the courses that I've signed up for, this is the schedule. So if you look at each option, so you see when it is, what the course is, the location of where the lecture is going to be conducted, who's conducting it, and to which master tracks it belongs. So in this case, this course that I'm showing to you guys is a mandatory course for both a control and operations masters and the flight performance one. And then you also have a link to the study guide. So if you click on that, yeah, so it takes you to the study guide. This is the TU Delft study guide. And if you enter any course, so like if I click on, let's say, the course that I just spoke about, it gives you a full overview of what the course contains. So when this course is conducted, when it begins, when it ends, which language it's going to be in, the expected prior knowledge. So in this case, these are courses from the bachelor's. So sometimes you can even register for the bachelor courses just to get an overview of what is required of you. And then here is an explanation of what the course content is going to be, and study goals, so just the general goals of what the course is, and the education method, and then also like at the end, how they're going to assess you. So here it's a closed book written examination. Sometimes it's just an assignment, sometimes it's a project. So I'd recommend for every course that you take every quarter, just go to the study guide page and have a look and see what the prerequisites are, what the course is going to be like, and what kind of assessment. And here in the top, you can also see the number of credits that you get from the course. So yeah, once you add it on MyTimeTable, you should be able to see your weekly schedule. And if I'm not mistaken, the first quarter exams are the beginning of November, end of October, beginning. Yeah. So here you can already see. So for one of my courses, my exam is on the 3rd of November, and it also mentions, so it's on the 3rd of November from 9 to 12, and it mentions the locations of the halls. So now the 3rd of November is when the exam is, so a month before. So in October, the beginning of October, I would already go to MyTUDelft and sign up for the examination. And when you sign up for the examination, usually in your ticket, it will mention which room you are assigned to. So go to that specific room, and then when you scan your campus card, it'll give you a green light if you did sign up for that examination, and that's your room. For example, sometimes if you might make a mistake and go to the wrong room, and they won't usually allow you to sit in the wrong room, because the rooms are filled based on the number of the capacity of the lecture hall. So yeah, just always make sure you know which room you're supposed to go to, and make sure the the location and the time of the exam.
All right.
And there's also an ability to add this to your Google Calendar.
Yeah, the CVS file.
Oh, how do you do that?
Download it, I think.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you download it and then...
Yeah, the CSV and iCalendar. Yep.
Yeah, so you can link this to your Google Calendar or your iCalendar directly. And that pretty much wraps it up with MyTimeTable.
All right. Just to confirm, adding a course to MyTimeTable does not mean that we've enrolled for it. No, it does not mean that you've enrolled for it. You're just adding the course schedule to your schedule. So you're not enrolling for the course, but you're just making sure that the schedule of the course maps up with your schedule. So you need to enroll for a course on Brightspace, and you're adding the course as a schedule to your timetable.
And then you sign up for the test on MyTUDelft. So essentially you have 3 different places to sign up for.
Is physical attendance mandatory? It depends on the lecture. Some professors have physical attendance mandatory, and only if you're sick and if you can let them know in advance, they let you off, because that's the requirement for the course.
Ethics is one of them that I can think of, where they actually have a list, and they do a roll call at the beginning of the lecture. So if you do miss, they usually tell you at the beginning. I think for most courses, I think you can have 2 missed sessions in a quarter.
Yeah.
And if you have more than that, it's again a case-by-case basis if it's a serious medical condition, but usually they just ask you to repeat it again the next quarter or the next year.
Yeah, and someone was asking about resits. Most of the subjects allow you to resit the exam, or if the assignment's not a pass, then you can resit the assignment as well.
It's not a given. So the assignments. So again, this information will be mentioned during the very first lecture of your course. So some assignments, let's say larger group projects, you cannot resit. You might have to wait until the next year to do them again.
Yeah.
So just make sure you are well informed of which ones you can and cannot resit the next quarter. And again, resits vary. So within aerospace, if you resit, you can resit for a higher grade. So let's say you got a 7 the first time and you want a higher grade, you can get a higher grade. But some faculties, if you resit, it's like the highest you can get is a 6. So you just get a 6 and you pass. So you can't resit for a higher grade. So again, this is the information I would recommend you ask during a faculty introduction, and they also are course specific. So either check the My Study Guide if it's not mentioned, pay attention during the introduction lecture, and if it's still not clear, it should be on their Brightspace page. And if it's not on the Brightspace page, contact the respective lecturers or the TAs for that course.
Kanik has the same question. Is adding a course on Brightspace the same as enrolling for it? Adding a course on Brightspace is the same as enrolling for it, but adding a course on the timetable is not the same as enrolling for it. So you got to be very careful on where you're adding the course. Is it the timetable or is it Brightspace as a whole? Oscar has a question. When enrolling via a course, it shows more lecture or more hours than specified in study guide. Does it matter which lecture you go to? Sometimes study guide has older information and it's not up to date yet. So it's best to ask your professor about it. And sometimes professors also include study hours. The course the course catalog may show you that the lecture is for 2 hours, but the professor might just take 1 hour class and say 1 hour is self-study. So that also is sometimes in the timetable because the professor wants to declare those hours on the timetable for your schedule.
And usually, like I said, during the introduction lecture, the lecturer does specify how, for 3 ECTS, how many hours you're supposed to study and how it is divided. So how much of that time is allocated to lectures, how much of it is allocated to study and then assignments. And what was the question again?
It was about if the course has more hours than it's declared on study guides.
Yeah, just be careful. On MyTimeTable, usually when you sign up for a course, let's say, again, I keep bringing up ethics, but ethics, you do sign up for a group. So the group, like the number of spots in each group is limited. So if you don't get a spot, you have to wait until the next quarter or the next year. And then if you add my ethics, let's say you go to MyTimeTable, you add the ethics course, you will have multiple lectures throughout the week, but you don't have to attend each one of them. So it depends on the group that you are in. Let's say group 1 has a lecture on Monday, group 2 has a lecture on Tuesday. So there's also a option for group selection. So if you know which group you are in, and usually it also is available on Brightspace, or the lecturer mentions which lectures, which group should attend. So every single time you see an announcement, like let's say a lecture on Brightspace, it does not necessarily mean that you do have a lecture at that time. So again, talk to the lecturer about it. The lecturer usually will inform you how many lectures you have. And I wouldn't recommend skipping lectures in between, because next thing you know, you've attended the first chapter lecture and then you skip one, go to the next one. You've essentially missed an entire chapter.
Yeah.
So usually lectures occur to the sequence of the course. So unless it's specified that the same lecture is going to be repeated or it's for different groups, attend every lecture.
How do I know two courses do not overlap? Do I just test this with the timetable? Essentially, yeah, if you want to have electives, you got to test it with the timetable. That's what most of us do as well. If a course has multiple entries of rooms at the same time slot, how do you know which room you need to be in? Like Shashwat said, it's based on groups if it has multiple rooms in the same time slot. So once you enroll yourself to a group, your professor will let you know which room you're supposed to be in.
Or there's usually an overview on Brightspace as well. So at least for projects, when we had, let's say, project or ethics has multiple groups, different rooms mentioned under the same lecture heading. In that case, just it's on Brightspace, or you can always contact them and ask them which room to go to.
Yeah.
And for exams, it's mentioned on your exam ticket which room you're supposed to go to.
Yeah. If there are any changes, it's always going to be communicated to you via email, via notifications. So
always go to Brightspace first, and then sometimes they do send you an email as well. Again, it's dependent on the lecturer.
Does the schedule of the classes for one subject vary weekly? Is the schedule for one subject set for the entire quarter, or professors can set it weekly? Usually most professors set it for the entire quarter because they also have a fixed schedule that they need to operate in. Sometimes, due to unforeseen circumstances, professors might reschedule one or two classes. That tends to happen every now and then, and that's human nature. You can't really stop it. But then again, the professor will communicate it to you that, hey, there's going to be a change in this lecture. We're going to have it at so-and-so time and so-and-so place because of so-and-so reason.
But so the thing is, within aerospace, you have to be a bit, they usually don't make these changes because they are aware that, one, there are people, they have multiple courses at different times, so they can't exactly reschedule it, and then it wouldn't work if it overlaps with another course. And they also know that other faculty or like other department students are also doing the courses, so it might not work. And sometimes when they do plan on rescheduling a lecture that they missed, they usually they take a consensus amongst the students as to when it's possible, and they also usually upload a recording so you can watch it at any given time. So it's not like a lecture that you have to go to in person. You can just watch the lecture before the next live lecture.
What happens if we enroll in a wrong course by mistake? You can always unenroll from the course. That's not a problem at all. On Brightspace, you have options to unenroll from your course from the course catalog itself. So you don't have to worry about it. And even if you enroll for a wrong course, if you don't give the exam or don't submit the assignments, essentially it doesn't reflect in your grades, or it doesn't reflect in your diploma at the end of the day.
No, it depends on if you do, if you're really oblivious and you don't realize until the very end that you've registered in the wrong course, you can always complete the course and then use that as an elective and maybe get extra credits for it.
Yeah.
But trust me, especially with the mathematics courses that the aerospace faculty offers, the course codes are really similar. And within the first week, you realize something is up because either the timetable doesn't match your actual course, or something about the course, like the information does not update, or you just don't recognize the content.
We have another question. When do we enroll for courses? Quarter by quarter? And roughly when can we start? So you enroll for courses quarter by quarter, but starting for enrollment of courses depends on your faculty, depends on the course, depends on the professor. It's variable. So just if you're interested in a course, look it up on Brightspace. If you don't find it, the course is not live yet, or it's not visible to you. So if it's very close to when the course is actually supposed to start, email the professor, see what's going on with the course, see if the course is actually live and it's just you who can't see it, or if the professor did not release the course online live as of live yet. Is it possible that the courses are already available to add on MyTimeTable but not available on Brightspace?
Yes. So currently that's what I've done. So I have a few courses from the first quarter that I have to do, and the draft calendar is, in general, the calendar for the courses is available before the course is made available on Brightspace. So right now you can actually enroll for the course on your MyTimeTable. So they will show up in your calendar, and like, yeah, if you open it right now, it will tell you it's just a draft schedule. So it might be subject to change.
All right. I have a course for Q1 that is not shown in my timetable yet. When will it be added? It depends. Maybe the professor is still not ready with the schedule for what he's going to plan. So just keep looking for it. But if it's still not ready by the 5th of September, then probably email your faculty or your professor and see what's going on with the course.
Again, ask, like I mentioned before, like if you have any questions, the good thing is you guys have a faculty introduction program the week before your actual academic year begins.
Yep.
So any questions that you have or any problems that you have regarding your studies that have not been resolved by then, take that opportunity to address them all.
Yep. Some courses are not visible in my timetable. Why is this? We just answered this, and will this be adjusted before September 5th? Again, it depends. Just ask your faculty during faculty introductions or email your professors or the faculty itself. I see that most of the questions have been answered. There's one more thing that we would like to talk about, and that is software, the software portal that's available. Most of your courses might ask you for different kinds of software, whether it's technical or whether it's just good to have softwares for research. So we have something called the software portal where you can download softwares for free with a TU Delft license, so you don't have to pay for using these softwares.
I can show it to you.
Shashwat's going to show it to you shortly.
So yeah, we have a whole collection of softwares. So I'd initially recommend just go through what we have on the portal before you actually decide to buy licenses on your own.
Mm-hmm.
So again, we're back to the home page. So we've covered MyTimeTable, MyTUDelft, the catalogs. Under resources, you have several resources. I'm just going to go over some of them. So first is career and counseling. So like as the name suggests, all career and counseling related services, you can go to their website. Let me just open it so you have an idea of what it looks like. Yeah. So all essential things are mentioned here, including when you can meet them, consultations and stuff like that. They
also have really interesting workshops that you can sign up for.
So like CV checks, career fairs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And second, so college drama. This again depends on almost lecture by lecture basis, but during my bachelor's, it was super helpful because they do have live recordings. So if you go to like recordings or college drama, you can actually watch lecture recordings. But at least for the bachelor courses, you had all the bachelor courses. All of them had all the lectures available on it. So if you wanted to watch them again, you could always do it here. But it's really specific to master courses. So for example, if I go to Masters Aerospace, it's not a given that each course would upload their. Wow. Yeah, so now these are the master tracks that are available. So then you can see, okay. Yeah, you see, so some of the courses don't have videos and some of them do. So AE 4010 has the lectures available. So when you sign up for the courses that you have, I would recommend checking up on the college drama recordings if they have any, because it could be really helpful. Even if you, let's say for some reason you miss a lecture, the content usually doesn't vary that much, and every couple of years they do update the recordings, so you don't miss any essential information. And okay, so besides the career and counseling college drama, you also have the readers. So some of the readers course material is provided, like it's some lecturers tend to make their own reading material. So they do mention it at the beginning of the introduction lecture, so what the material is that they're going to go over during the lecture. So they do recommend which books to buy, which books to read, and where you can buy them. Sometimes they also give you discount codes for purchasing them from a certain publisher. But sometimes you also have course books that you can get here. So for example, if you go to the masters under 3ME, you have all these books, so you can download them for free. But if you want a hard copy, you can buy them for a certain for a certain price, and you can pick them up at the library. So it's up to you if you prefer a soft copy or a hard copy. And usually the lecturer will mention to you which books are available on the reader webpage of TU Delft.
But also, if sometimes the books are not available, your student associations in your departments have discounts for certain textbooks.
Yeah, so all the books. So usually, unless you yourself can find a specific book online at a cheaper price, usually your student associations from your faculty do have deals with publishers to get the latest books, the correct edition, with a pretty big discount.
Yep.
So if you really want a hard copy, I'd recommend buying through the student association, and usually the lecturer will inform you first. For example, one of the aerospace courses that I had was like actually run by the mathematics faculty, and so I had to go to the mathematics faculty's student association and then buy the book from there. And the last thing is the software portal. So if you go here, again, everybody does not have the same selection of software, so it depends on what your studies as well. So for example, I presume the industrial design students don't have the same set of softwares available to them as the aerospace ones. So here, for example, you have MATLAB. You should also have CATIA, like an old version of CATIA. You have answers for CFD, and so yeah, usually just a course instructor will again inform you which software you'd require for the assignments or just to follow the course, and they will mention if you need to buy it separately or if it's available on the student portal. And in general, the support for Windows systems is better compared to Mac. So again, here you can also check which programs are supported under, like with which OS. And yeah, if you open any of them, so I'm just going to open, for example, MATLAB. Okay. And here, so you have information on what this is, the files that you need to download, and then just the installation guide as to how to activate it.
Yep. Also, this list of software is the same for most students in TU Delft, because all students in TU Delft have access to
just
all the softwares.
some specific ones. Some specific ones might vary.
Yeah, and also it's good to know because this also will help during your thesis, because I used Atlas TI for my thesis itself, and even though I didn't use it for a course, I was using it for my thesis. So it's good to know that you can always find these softwares here.
Yeah, this one.
Yep. And apart from that, we also have a student laptop project. So if you don't have a laptop that's catered to your course, you can always look up the laptop project in the TU Delft website to buy the laptop that's suitable for your needs.
Yeah, so you have 3 different models based on like 3 different tiers of performance, and usually I think on the same page you will also have it mentions so for which studies each laptop is recommended. They also have a price, and usually they're heavily discounted. And the benefit of buying a laptop with the laptop project is you can get them serviced on campus, and the warranty, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's 2 years, and is handled by TU Delft, like by the ICT help desk guys.
Yep.
And in general, if you don't want to buy a laptop with the TU Delft project, you can also just buy your own laptop. Just make sure that the specifications
match the ones that
align, or in case you find a cheaper deal but a better laptop, just make sure your minimum specs meet the ones that the TU Delft is, like the course is recommending.
All right. And another thing is that even though you have a laptop that's not a TU Delft laptop, you can always go to ICT services for help with your laptop, because I've had several friends who've spilled liquids, coffees on their keyboards and ruined their laptops, but they still got the help that they needed.
But yeah, they do charge you for certain services, so I don't think spilling coffee is covered under your warranty.
It's not. But it's nice to know that there's something on campus that can immediately help you with your problem rather than waiting for help.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, it's a Drebelweg, right?
Yeah.
So it's behind the EWI building. So once you guys come on campus, you'll see this ginormous building with the TU Delft logo on it and clock on either side. So behind that building, you also have a building called Drebelweg, which is basically like the examination center, at least for most of the bachelor courses I've had. The exams are conducted there, and within that building you have the ICT help desk where they actually do fix like the hardware. And if you in general have any technical issues, let's say your webmail is not working, or you're not able to log in, or if you have any program specific problems, I'd recommend, like most faculties, including the library, have ICT help desks, so you can just go to them, discuss your problem, and if they can't resolve it themselves, they will send you to the right place to get it fixed.
And apart from that, like you saw, you have career and counseling services. You also have TU Delft psychologists. So if you have any issues with your well-being, please reach out to a TU Delft psychologist for help. But if you're hesitant to do so, or if it's something related to academics, you always have academic counselors assigned for each faculty. So reach out to academic counselors, talk to them about what issues are bothering you, especially if it's something related to subjects, if it's something within your control, outside your control. Just let people know that you're going through something, because that's important. A lot of people think masters is going to be a fun ride, but it will cause burnout, and do not underestimate how intense it can get, because you're studying for 2 years and you can get so hyper focused in that you just lose track of things.
Again, this is something we do mention in the Brightspace course as well. The recommended workload per quarter is 15 credits.
Yes.
So just having done my bachelor's, 15 credits is a plateful. It's hard enough as it is. So if you do feel super ambitious and you think you're more capable, go ahead, do more courses. If you end up doing less than 15 credits, don't be disappointed. But 15 credits is what I'd recommend personally.
Yeah.
Like if you decide to do 30 credits worth of courses, don't be surprised if it doesn't work out.
Yeah. My suggestion would be in the first quarter, take 15 credits,
then you can
see how you can manage it, and then decide if you want to increase how many courses you want to do or decrease them. We will go back to the questions on the chat. The recordings on College Drama are most of the time old versions of the lecture recordings updated every year. No, they're not. Whatever's uploaded on College Drama either stays on College Drama or is removed. It's up to your professor if he wants to upload recorded sessions on College Drama. It was useful during the pandemic time, but now since everything's coming back to normal, we don't know if your professor will choose to do so. And go ahead and
in general, I'd recommend, usually the lecturer tends to upload the lecture slides of that week's lecture on Brightspace. And if something is not clear, and if by luck you do have the lectures available on College Drama, I would recommend having both the lecture slides open and watch College Drama recordings, because some of the information might be new and some of the information might have been removed.
Yeah.
But that's another thing I'm not entirely sure about, because last year it was mostly online and hybrid, so they did essentially record all the lectures and upload them on Brightspace. So I'm not entirely sure if they're going to make those recordings from last year available on Brightspace again. But again, that depends based on each lecturer, so you can always ask.
2 questions. My software downloads page says no packages are available. Do I need to do something? I would say wait until you come here to see if you can access it or no. And the other question is, when the software download link is clicked, it shows that no packages are available right now. Again, the same answer. Wait until you come here to see if it's still the same or if it's different.
And go to the help desk if you have, if the problem persists, or if you're not able to figure out how to solve it, always go to the help desk and they will figure it out for you.
Do the software licenses have a time limit? As long as you're a TU student, I think you can use them, but sometimes they refresh the license keys.
Yeah, exactly. So sometimes for some software, I think for MATLAB, is it every year? Yeah, every year I think you have to renew your license, and usually whenever you create a license, it's linked to your student account.
Yep.
So the moment you either unenroll from your your education, you stop your education, or you have graduated, you essentially lose access to most of the licenses that you've had.
Your email still remains active for 6 months after you unenroll, so that buffer period might also be valid for your license, but we're not sure about it yet. Is it wise to get our books and readers as soon as possible before the actual course start? I would advise no, because if your professor decides, hey, we're going to change the subject's material, then you're essentially paying for something that you probably wouldn't use.
Yeah, but in general, the only thing that usually changes is the edition of the books that they recommend. And amongst the editions, at least as far as I've seen from so many courses, either you get a little bit more information, or the exercises or the content is just a bit jumbled. Yeah. So if you don't want to spend a lot of money buying new books, you can get them secondhand, or you can get them from previous students. It might be the same edition that your professor recommends, or it might be a previous edition. So I'd recommend wait until the first lecture so you have an idea of what's required, what he's expecting, and how he's using the reading material. And based on that, you can choose if you want to get a soft copy of it, if you want to buy a new book, if you want to get it secondhand. Don't make any of those decisions right now. And if you are, if it is already on Brightspace mentioned which books they are, and if you find them in your home country for a cheaper price,
go ahead and buy it. Are you expected to learn softwares in advance, or are there software courses? Not really, but if it's something that's essential like MATLAB for your course, you should probably know that before you come here.
No. For control and simulation, MATLAB / Simulink is really important. Okay. So during a bachelor's, we do have we do deal a bit with MATLAB, but it's not in depth. But the good thing is the lecturers are usually aware of the fact that a lot of the master students either come from a different university, or come from a different study, so they don't expect all of you to be proficient in the software. Sometimes, if they're nice enough, they do provide you material that helps you with learning the software quicker. Otherwise, it's trial and error. There are plenty of YouTube videos out there, and yeah, it's also good to know your classmates in case you have any questions. It's really a collaborative environment to learn these softwares.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they do mention it if it's a like prerequisite that you should know, or if you can learn it while doing the course. And at least in my opinion, it's like in my experience, it's mostly you see an assignment, you require a specific software, and you kind of figure it out as it goes. So,
if you have open book tests at TUD, and if yes, are we allowed to use digital copies? Yes, we do. Certain subjects have open book tests, but again, it's specific to what kind of professor you get. Some professors allow you to have digital copies,
and
some professors expect you to have physical copies, and Shashwat recently had an experience with such a professor.
Again, usually the lecturer makes it really clear. If it's not clear, just ask him. And the previous exam that I did, I essentially printed all the material that I had, and I got swamped with it on my table. And I didn't realize that you actually could get a digital copy as well. So,
any suggestions on where to buy a laptop locally? You can buy it from all of the major manufacturing laptop manufacturing companies. They usually have student discounts.
But in general, in the Netherlands, when it comes to computer electronics, I personally do not trust Amazon that much with electronics. So I would recommend bol.com, coolblue.nl. Then you have Megekko, which is a computer hardware specific site, and then you also have Alternate and Azerty. So, but I would just Google it, and you'd find there are very few highly recommended retailers for electronics in the Netherlands, and just find the cheapest one you can, and usually the manufacturer warranty applies to each one of them, so you won't be in trouble.
Does the university have tie-ups with Microsoft, Google, Amazon for cloud computing resources like access to student accounts or so many free credits that we can use? I'm not sure what you mean by cloud computing services here. So I would say maybe ask that to the ICT itself.
Or just wait, all these questions, I'd recommend you wait until especially faculty specific ones we are not entirely aware of, because we only she's from TPM and I'm from aerospace. I'd recommend just wait until the introduction, the faculty introduction, and go nuts. Just ask them all the questions regarding your studies or faculty specific questions that you have.
Will courses get filled up and reach max capacity if you register late, and how could you share the deadline for that in general? Again, it depends on the course that you're enrolling for.
The lecturers will make it clear to you, ask you in the faculty introduction, and worst come worst, you can always email the lecturer.
If it's not live yet, just email and ask. The best way to get responses is by just getting in touch with the right people. That's one suggestion here at TU Delft that I would say.
Usually you also assign a mentor, if I'm not mistaken.
Student mentor, in the beginning, so you can always ask them.
And usually mentors from your faculty, your department. So I recommend asking them.
You have something to share about the IP itself.
So I just want to give a small insight into what we're going to do during the program. So during the program, one of the key elements is project work. And for that, we're going to divide all the students into, I think,
teams.
Certain city teams, and each team will have a team one. Let's say Rotterdam will have team 1 and team 2, and each of those teams will have to do project work. So in the schedule, it's on Monday and Tuesday you have time to work on your project, and on Thursday you do present in front of a jury, and it's just a competition. So I'm just going to give a sneak peek on what the project work, the topic is, and what the categories are for this year. So for this year, the project work is Netherlands 2040. So you're essentially designing for the future of the Netherlands. So based on your city that you're assigned, your team needs to agree on a problem that your city might face by 2040 and how to tackle with it. And this problem might belong to one of the 4 categories mentioned. So it could be pertaining to infrastructure and transportation, health, safety and welfare, energy and sustainability, or food and agriculture. So when you actually do sit down to do the project work with your team, you initially discuss on what problem you want to tackle. And then on Brightspace, under the groups part, under the collaboration part, you do have to specify what topic your team has selected. And this year, for the first time, we also have a collaboration with the Delft Center of Entrepreneurship, DCE. And we have a limited number of spots for a startup track. So essentially, from each of these 4 topics, we have 5 spots available. So it's based on a first come, first serve basis on Monday, where teams can decide to take part in the startup track. And if they sign up in time and get a spot, you guys will be following a slightly different version of the project work, mostly focused on developing your idea, like your solution for the problem into a startup. You essentially still work on the same general topic. So just Netherlands 2040, you'll be tackling your city's problem. You might have you will have 1 or 2 more deliverables that are more focused on startup. And the assessment will also be done in collaboration with DCE. And if you do decide to do the DCE startup track, you will have a few additional things. You'll have a separate opening lecture by DCE. You'll have a coaching session on Tuesday by DCE, and you will also present on Thursday, but you will do it with the other DCE startup teams. So just keep these topics in mind, and once you find out your team and what city you are in, on Monday you guys can decide if you want to take part in the startup track. And the registration, all the information regarding the registration, the general information of where you're supposed to sit and what you're supposed to do will be mentioned on Brightspace. So with the help of project work, we are trying to prepare you for your academic life here at TU Delft. So what to expect and how actually, like what the TU Delft method of doing project work is. And using this project work, you also familiarize yourself with how Brightspace works. And in general, if you can successfully go through this project work, your courses are pretty much going to be in the same structure. So all the information will be on Brightspace. You will learn how to collaborate with your team members on other platforms, and in general, submit your work on Brightspace as well. So yeah, I hope you guys are looking forward to doing project work, and I hope you guys have a lot of fun.
Yep. Just before we go ahead with the next topic, we would highly recommend that you go through our IP course before you come to TU Delft, so that you know what resources are available at the university itself, because this course has a list of all the resources that you can use as a student at TU Delft, whether it's internal resources within the university or external resources. We also talk about different student associations, and we also talk about the ECTS system, plagiarism,
everything like
everything
how TU
that
Delft functions,
yeah.
your life in and around the academic, nature of TU Delft.
Yeah, and just go through the course and you will have all your answers there. When do we get our teams? Will all members be master students? Yes, all members will be master students. It's an masters doing exchange or bridging, and it's going to be interdisciplinary teams from different faculties, from different countries.
We're trying to make them as diverse as possible.
Yes, so you will get to know your team just a couple of days before the IP begins. You will receive an email along with a WhatsApp link so that you can join a group and get to know your team members before you come here. Will the project work be online or in person? It is in person. It's on campus IP, so we expect you to be here. And we also expect that certain members within teams carry a laptop because it's easy for them to
but in general, those of you who did sign up for the on-campus day program, the 5-day program, will be joined into project work. For those of you who did not sign up, unfortunately, you cannot take part in this project work, and it's on campus, and we have assigned rooms for different project groups to perform. To do the project work. And like Pranati mentioned, bring you can discuss it on your WhatsApp group once you get access to it, to decide what material you guys are going to bring. And you guys won't have to create any physical object. It's mostly going to be online, like the presentation or the post that you create. So yeah, that's it. Any other questions?
Just another question that isn't in the context. Do we have any recommendations where to rent a bike? Is there places that give student discounts? You can always buy bikes for second hand for a cheaper price. We do have a bike sale on campus on Monday where you can buy bikes, but we have a very limited number of bikes, so you might want to hurry up. And
it's first come, first serve.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's not that we assure that every one of you would get a bike, but you can always use Marktplaats and Facebook Marketplace to always look for buying second-hand bikes. But if you're looking for renting, then either you go for OV Feeds or Swap Feeds. OV Feeds is something that you can rent using your OV chip card for shorter trips for a day or two.
Yeah, but long term, I would recommend
Swap Feeds. So Swap Feeds is where you can rent a bike.
It's a monthly subscription model. So every month you pay a certain amount, and they essentially give you a bike. So any problem that you face, let's say something is broken, you punctured your tire or something, they come and fix it.
Yeah.
And you have a wide selection of bikes you can choose from. And if you want to buy a new bike, there are plenty of bike stores around Delft.
Yeah.
And my personal recommendation for a more budget bike is in Decathlon. You have this bike called Riverside. Is it 110 or 120?
It's 120, Riverside 120.
Yeah, Riverside 120. So that's the bike I had for the first 3 years that I was here. It was 100 something, 110, 120 euros. You buy, totally with a stand and a few other accessories.
Yeah.
Comes to 150. It's brand new. So yeah, that's one of my personal recommendations, but just know that it's a hot commodity. So usually at the beginning of the academic year,
it gets
sold out online and in both the in-person stores in Rotterdam and The Hague.
When exactly is this bike sale? It's on Monday, that's the 22nd.
During, we have a specific time for it. We do specify, we have a specific time for it. And like I mentioned before, it's first come, first serve. And we do understand that students would like to go there, so we don't have any event during that time.
Yeah, we don't have any event during that time. So from 12:30 to 1:30, you're allowed to go to the locations where the bike sales are held. You can see which bike you would like.
You can even test them out.
You can even test them out, and then you can purchase them immediately over there. And like we said, the bike sale is for people who attend on-campus events. So you need to be present on campus to actually go attend the sale. Do they tend to steal bikes often here?
Yes.
Yes, they do. And I would also recommend to ask these questions in the social app, because this is in the context of Brightspace and academic life here and not about living in the Netherlands. So if you have any questions related to anything, just ask us.
No, but in general, you can also just Google it.
Yeah.
Netherlands is notorious for bike thefts, and you have plenty of suggestions on how to fix it and what practices would least likely end up with you losing your bike.
Yeah.
So I recommend either you discuss it with your fellow peers on the social platform, or you just look online for suggestions.
We will stop taking questions now, but we have a few more things that we would like to discuss with you. The first thing is IP Got Talent.
Okay, so another key, a really popular program element that we do have with the introduction program is IP Got Talent. So as the name suggests, it's pretty much one of the Got Talent shows. So on Tuesday in the evening after project work and the campus tour, we do have 2 hours worth of a program. So during that program, we essentially right now the applications are open. So we do select the top 20 performers, and they will perform in front of a crowd, a pretty big crowd. And we have a jury panel, and it's a talent show. So within 2 hours, we decide who wins the talent show. And we have exciting prizes for both the participants and for the winners. And in general, it's a spectacle. This is one of the highlights of the IP. And we have extended the deadline from tomorrow. I think it was initially 11th of August, that was the deadline.
Yeah.
We've extended it to the 18th of August at 12 p.m.
Yeah.
For any of you guys who has a talent or who has an instrument or would like to showcase their abilities, I would highly recommend signing up for it. We do have the link, mentioned on our Instagram page and on the social platform.
The social platform, the Instagram page lets you know where.
Where the thing is, and there's a form for it. You can fill out your name, your email address, what your talent is, and we need a submission video of what you're planning on performing on stage. Please do send us, please do try participating if you do have anything to showcase. I guarantee you it's going to be an absolute blast.
Yeah.
And exciting prizes. If I haven't mentioned, both the participants and the winners get prizes.
Yeah. Like we said, we've extended the deadline from tomorrow to next week because we understand that it's a very short time frame for you to decide whether you want to participate or not.
And you had to create a submission video, so we understand it takes a bit longer.
We understand it takes time, especially we know that a few students from different countries have some issues with their visas. So now that you have more time, think about it, submit a video. We will see if you would like to be part of the stage, because such an event happening again in TU Delft.
Yeah, for the first time in 3 years.
It's going to happen. It happened once in 3 years now.
Yeah.
But then again, in your TU Delft academic career, I don't think you would see people again perform on stage, or people would see you perform on stage. So it is sort of a once in a master's.
Once in a TU Delft experience.
Yeah, once in a TU Delft experience, I would say. And it's going to be really fun. So if you're still hesitant, if you're nervous about it, don't worry, just sign up for it. Go there, enjoy, have a blast on the stage. and then win prizes.
Yeah. If you want to look at some old IP Got Talent footage, there is a reel on Instagram.
Yeah, we have, that's right, we have a lot of reels on our Instagram about the different elements that we have for our IP. So
Just
go
so you
follow
get
us on Instagram at TU Delft IP, and you will find our posts there. And if you have any more questions, do ask it to us on our social app. And one final thing, please bring a flag of your country when you're coming here to the IP. We're going to have a nice flagged photo on the rooftop of our library. You would have seen our library's pictures all over the internet. It's going to be nice. It's going to be you trying to meet with different people from your country, and we're all going to have that photo posted for our after movie, our social media.
It's a big thing. Like, if you want to represent your country where you're from, I'd highly recommend it. There are, I think, have you posted one on Instagram yet?
Not yet, but it's there in our older posts.
Yeah, but you should see, like, if you go through our old Instagram, like if you go through our Instagram feed, there are pictures of the flag photo. It's pretty much a tradition here. So yeah, if you have a talent, please sign up, bring the respective instruments or whatever you need for your act. And if you do have a flag from your country, please bring that as well and participate in the flag photo.
It's all about diversity, but coming together on the same roof, like literally
it's a really good picture.
Yeah.
Like we usually use that picture as the main banner for our Brightspace page. It's been like the first time in 3 years since COVID that we are taking the picture again. So
but that brings us to the end of this question and answer. I see more people asking questions, but like I said, we have the IP cafe where you can ask questions, and we will answer your questions there as well. So go ahead and ask us questions there, and we will be more than happy to answer you on IP Cafe. That's on the social app. For those of you who still don't have access to the social app or the on-campus registrations, please email to us as soon as possible. Tomorrow is the last day to register for the on-campus IP. So if you don't register by the end of tomorrow, then it is going to be very difficult for us to accommodate you for the on-campus IP. So sign up before tomorrow and be a part of all the fun that you're going to have for that 1 week of your introduction week. That's us signing off for now, and we can't wait to see you on campus. So we will see you soon in another 2 weeks. Bye now.
thank you for coming.